as well. So DJ, in case you don't, this is DJ Mackenzie, who's the IT pro there at Madison Academy, and will be sharing with us some awesome sauce. Once he gets that funky imagery in the background off.
That is the 1982 masterpiece, Tron. So, all right. So, some of this may be common knowledge to many of you, so it may be a repeat. And if it is, again, apologize for that. But we're just going to go through a few things on using YouTube if that's something that you are or plan to make use of during this time. Just a couple of things to be aware of how you can integrate that into Google Classroom in a way that's the least amount of distracting for the students. So main points, the G Suite domain that you're under, making sure that YouTube approval privileges are there, and then embedding those YouTube videos in slides, classroom, and forms, and then also using a clean YouTube video if you're going to provide the link in a Google Doc, and that's clean related to the aesthetics and all the extra things that YouTube has, not necessarily the content. All right, so let me hit start on this here. All right, so the first thing is, this is just the domain side of things, but the way that it works is that in your domain, the YouTube settings for Google Classroom teachers needs to be turned on. And then obviously all the classroom teachers would need to be a part of that group. The other way that you can also have that set to is right here. You can see our domain staff are set to be able to approve videos. Students obviously are going to be set to one of these other three options, whether it's strict, moderate, or unrestricted. I think I have the Academy kids on moderate just because we have a web filter that takes care of some other things. And when that happens, when all that's set up there, what you will get as a teacher when you visit a YouTube page is this little blue bar with the approve button. Now, for the most part, there's not a lot of videos that you really need this for, especially if the content isn't questionable. But one of the things that I have had happen, and other teachers as well, is that we'll post a video and the students will try to access it, and it will say that it's blocked. Contact your G Suite administrator or log in with a G Suite domain account. Even though there's nothing wrong with the content, it's educational, it's whatever. And for whatever reason, the algorithm, the tags, whatever it is, there's something that gets caught and will prevent students from being able to see certain videos. And I've run into that a number of times in fact, this particular video right here, the screenshot is of, this is one that I had that happen on. And so I had to go in and approve it, even though the content itself it's an 80s PBS video, so you can't get much tamer than that. But it's still, for whatever reason, was blocked. So if you want to make sure that the video that you have selected is going to be available for your students, this is kind of one of those ways to do that. All right, now after that, so if we're going to, we'll talk about embedding the videos real quick. And let's see if pull up the chat here. I'm not sure if somebody's asking a question or not. All right, so if you haven't done this before, in Google Slides, you've got a bunch of insert options. On the toolbar, you have the insert image, but what we want is video. So you're going to go up to the insert menu, choose video, and then it has a search feature, which you can use, and I've done that as well. You can type it in and it'll pull up, I'll just do this just to get some results. Usually I just like to go to YouTube itself and get the URL. So if I'm going to use this video here, I'll copy the URL and then just paste that so that I can insert it that way. And then you'll also notice on the other side, the formatting options, you can do a start and stop. So if you want to crop a part of that video out, just use a section of it, the autoplay, the mute. So that's how you add Google Slides. You can also, the other option is Google Drive. Any videos that you have uploaded to Google Drive can also be embedded in a Google Slide presentation. So pretty simple, nothing real complicated there. If you are using Google Forms for any kind of assessment, You can also embed some videos in there. So here's an assignment I had for some students about this video. It's a film about the story, founding of Islam. It's like 3 hours long, so obviously I don't want them to watch all of that. But the YouTube button here, add, same kind of interface, search or by URL. It does not give you the option to insert through Google Drive, at least in this little part right there. And then you can have your questions and so on. So that's, again, pretty basic. In Classroom, again, very simple. If you're posting something, you got the add button down here, YouTube, and then URL or video search, or adding a video from Google Drive, that as well. Classwork, same thing. Any assignment that you're creating, you can always add YouTube videos for them to view for that as well. So that part's pretty basic, and that may be things that you're already aware of. So the nice thing about embedding the video is that it cuts out all of the comment section and the suggested videos and all that other stuff. So it minimizes the distractions so they can focus just on the content that you want them to see. But if you are creating a Google Doc and you want them to have access to a video from that, right now you can't embed a video inside of a Google Doc. Well, I take that back. There is a way to do it, but it's clunky and it's annoying. It's a pain in the rear end to do. So it's not something that I would necessarily recommend. It involves using Google Drawings and Google Slides, and it's not very efficient. So if you want to include a link, there are several websites that you can use to provide a clean viewing where it just cuts out all of the extra stuff and gives you just the video. And so I'll copy this URL here. And let's see. So let's go to this first one here. Safe Search. This one's been around for a while. The one thing about this video site is that you have to sign in first. So you paste in the link. It will ask you to sign in. I'm already signed in here, so it's just going to go straight to the Safe View. This one, this particular site lets you trim the video, so you can kind of crop it to what section you want, and then it gives you the option to share that, and it just creates an alternate link that you would then copy and paste in instead of just the YouTube link. Safe YouTube is another similar site. This one's a little bit more streamlined. You just click there and it generates a link. You copy that and you're good to go. And Watchkin is just another one. So I'm just showing, they all kind of do the same thing, but you might try one that you might like the look of better. And I don't know. It's they all kind of function the same way. This one right here, again, gives you, under the more info, just an alternate link that you can copy and then paste into your document. So that's basically it. Let me stop the sharing here for just a second. But yeah, so if you're wanting to embed something or put a link in a Google Doc that you don't want all the extra stuff with YouTube, you can do that. And of course, embedding it to Classroom or in Forms or in Slides will also cut out all of that extra stuff too. So that is basically it. Short and sweet. Maybe not new information to some, but.
All right. Thank you, DJ. We appreciate that very much.
Sure.
While you were sharing that information, we did find out from the governor that the stay-at-home order is in effect now all the way through the month of April for Tennessee as well. So we figured that would probably be what was going to happen. But there we are. So life just continues to unfold, and we'll see what the next day brings. If there are any questions that you have, or you would like to stay behind and ask a few questions this afternoon, and DJ, had you finished? I wanted to make sure, right?
Yeah, and I just posted a link to that little slideshow presentation in case you want. There's The first slide has a video. I just did a screencast basically saying everything that I just said. And then the 3 links to those clean YouTube views are in the Google Slides as well. So if anybody wants that, it is there. But yeah, that's all I got.
Very good. And you'll see that I mentioned in the chat as well that Nearpod. I want to push that again, that I want you to take advantage of Nearpod. I've provided that resource for you, but by next week, I'd really like to see that everybody has gotten on there and taken a poke around, because you will find some wonderful things, I believe with all my heart, and you'll say, oh, why haven't I been using this awesome tool? And then we'll be showing you next week, there've just been too many things, and I didn't want you drinking from the fire hose forever. So we just tried to meter that out a little bit. But next week, our goal is to show you a little bit more about how Google and Nearpod work beautifully together. So Google Slides and Nearpod just make a flawless user experience for you in designing good content that then you'll have forever. So your next awesome lesson that you want to do, consider Nearpod and log on to that account. So if you need any help with that, let us know. That's about it, I think. We are doing those weekly little focuses on Philippians 4:8. I hope you're sending those out to your parents, and use them as you choose. If you don't find value in them, then focus on our theme, our Philippians 4:8, in a different way. But we hope that you are finding some value in using those. Okay, and Matt will be doing our one for next week, and I'm still looking for volunteers to do the last couple of those. So I used to tell my 7th and 8th graders, I loved teaching 7th and 8th grade math and science those years. Volunteer or victim. So if I don't get volunteers, I'll just select a victim or 2. That works for me as well.
Hey, Peggy,
Yes.
we call it voluntold, and it's my favorite term ever.
Oh, that's cool. Voluntold, is that what you said? Put that in the chat. I like it. So, all right, my favorite people. We'll see you later, and have a blessed evening.
Can I ask you a quick question, Peggy, as everybody goes off?
Sure.
And I'm guessing I know that the answer might be just to record a video earlier, but what do you suggest if we need to take a day off?
Mm-hmm. Good. I think it's a case-by-case basis, but what I suggest is get your materials ready just like you would for a substitute, right? And you can either have Katie, in your instance, kind of check in with your students, or just let your parents know that the students will be working on their own on a given day, and here are the materials.
Okay.
We don't want to do that too often. We want to stay connected, of course, but if you need a day off, absolutely, folks. Absolutely.
Okay. No, I wouldn't normally just kind of disappear, but I typically am a mess on the anniversary of my husband's death is coming up, and I just usually don't work on that day because I'm usually a little bit of a mess. So
what day is that?
Just take that day off.
What day is that, Cass?
The 21st, April 21st. Boy, I had to think about it.
All right, baby girl. We're going to put that day down as our prayer day for Miss Cassie.
Oh, thanks. Goodness, I need that.
Don't we
right.
all? Absolutely. Come, Lord Jesus. Okay. Leonard, good to see you. Do you have some tips and tricks you'd like to share with us on Wednesday that would be just awesome things that our teachers need, do you think?
Of course not. I actually just emailed you and Kim how we see everybody else with all the little squares now. There is actually an add-on for Hangout that will do the exact same thing.
Is it an add-on or extension?
Extension.
Okay.
So,
cool.
I actually pushed it out to our teachers today, and they were actually allowed to use it. So they loved it.
That's great. Well, and you know, I've been pretty generous with the Zoom because they've done so much to help with that situation. And as long as our teachers are quick on the draw, and you know, do use the waiting room and those kinds of things, we have been allowing the Zoom connection to continue as well. But good job on that. All righty. Anybody else? Questions, comments, needs, concerns?
I do want to show there's an extension for Google Chrome that allows you to write math equations in your Google Forms that I really like. It's called Equatio, and it's been very helpful for me. I'm actually transferring textbook questions just into the form directly, so they don't have to refer to screenshots or scans of the books or anything. I found it to be very helpful.
Very good. So send us that in the chat, and then if you wouldn't mind, send it to Kim and myself, but we'll put it up in our Google Classroom as well, okay? Because that's a really good resource to have. Good. Those things you're finding that work for your specific needs,
I can,
others that need them too. Right.
I can show you guys how to use it. It's not too hard, but maybe people don't know how to install extensions on Chrome. But
I actually showed them the first time or two, but it might have been too much information. But yeah, and also the warning of, you know, you don't want too many of them because it literally slows your browser down if you have too many extensions. But a few of them that are high impact like that are absolutely essential, I feel. So good. Excellent. Anybody else? Janet Chase, good to see you, my dear. How are you holding up there? Janet, can you, maybe you're not connected to audio, and that's okay too. Shout out to Janet.
Hey, Janet. Amy put a question about dibbles in the chat box.
Right, so we're not going to worry about dibbles. But let me take a look at what she says here.
That's all she asked. What should we do about dibbles?
We're not going to worry about dibbles. If we do happen to get back to our classroom that first week of May and you would like to do that, I certainly would recommend it, but we recognize that those kinds of things have to pretty much just stand on the side at this point. So no dibbles. Voluntold. I like it. All right, folks. We will see you Wednesday. Same time, same place. Bye.